Okay, so metal.
Metal.
The show's about metal.
What is metal? We're going to spread the hidden value in music.
We're going to proselytize. We're going to get the word out there.
We are.
That's important.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Great Metal Podcast, episode 73. You're here with Shredmaster Scott, Just Pete, and the Metal Evangelist. Somebody thought they heard me say I'm the Metal Evangelist all this time, but that's not true. I'm the Metal.
You misheard. Don't get it twisted.
Misheard.
You guys did.
Common mistake to make.
Yeah. And that it's good to correct it today because that's what we're talking about. You know, we're talking about I think it's the first thing that you learned in music school, Scott. Mondegreens. We're talking about mondegreens today. It's the very first thing you learned in music school. No, this is crazy.
So I don't even know what that is.
Mondegreen.
Luke's talking crazy.
A mondegreen is actually the term for a misheard lyric in a song. This is great.
Wow.
Who knew there was a word for this? But
you need like a whiteboard behind you. You could like teach us stuff or a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Some kind of, we could like go to vocabulary class. Words are, interesting.
Well,
Most interesting.
It's good to name things, then everybody knows the meaning of a word. And so you have all the same understanding. Right?
Yes.
If Shred says, "Hey, turn the decibel level up," and I think decibels
66.6.
Right, turn it up. But if I think a decibel is a fart, and so I start farting on Scott, and he's like, "Whoa, that's not what I meant." Right? We have to have common language that we all understand.
Yeah, and the other thing is, don't be afraid to kind of like push the evolution of language. That's how slang and stuff kind of pushes things forward because we don't speak the same, that we did 100 years ago. And I find that really productive to kind of like come up with my own language that means its own things.
That's right. I mean, you have to filter reality through your perspective, right? And so if something is a little slightly different in your perspective, it's okay to name it that,
Yeah. It can make the communication even more powerful, actually.
Language is always developing and evolving, so it's also just a part of it.
That's
Welcome
part of
to
it.
Language class.
Language. English 201.
Well, so I mean that's
English 6066.
There you go.
Wait a minute. How did? Yeah, maybe just
60.
English 666.
Totally, yeah.
Very
It's a
advanced.
PhD.
It's a very advanced class we're in right now.
Yeah.
You might want to
So
start
that-
with 69. Language 69. That can be a little bit easier.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking. We're talking about words today. We're talking about misheard lyrics in metal. This is a very there are a lot of videos made about this kind of stuff. Your buddy Stevie T there, he makes a bunch of videos on this, right, Shred?
Yeah. It's really common to mishear lyrics, especially with all the production going on and the way people articulate their words in songs isn't the same as when they're speaking because they're trying to like fit it into, the rhythm of the melody and stuff. And it's like, oh man, there are so many lyrics I've misheard over the years.
Oh yeah. But a lot of times it's like a word, right? That, you think he's saying, hey, but he's saying bay, or something like that. Right. Today we have some really intricate examples of people mishearing words in radically different ways. Just a quick disclaimer for our audience or our audio audience. We're gonna read out what the lyrics are, but if you're watching this on YouTube, we're gonna put the words on the screen. I listened to some of these examples and I was like, that doesn't sound like what they're saying. But then I put the words up and I'm like, oh my gosh, it does sound like what they're saying. So you kind of gotta
power
if you're
suggestion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
why you wonder how it comes about sometimes, because you're like, the things that when it's like a sentence, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Why are people hearing that? Because you'd think your mind would be like, that's nonsensical. So you'd think you would hear the more sensical version, but that's not how it always works. And once
No.
you hear it wrong, you can't ever hear it right until you know the words, right? Like you're just stuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our
Yeah.
420 brains make up the craziest things sometimes. It
Yeah,
gets
they do.
weird. It gets weird. boys.
Weird.
Yeah. Let's actually. I want to start here with the very original where the term came from. Mondegreen. So it was Sylvia Wright, who I believe is an English or a Scottish or Irish, I can't remember,
Scottish.
writer. And there's a Scottish folk ballad called "The Bonnie Earl of Moray," and
We
it was
all
from,
know this. We're all familiar with
Yeah,
this.
it's wildly
Yeah.
familiar.
yeah. Well, and
Basic review.
I think this goes back a ways, but I did find a recording of it. And so the line is laid him on the green, but Sylvia Wright heard Lady Mondegreen. So she wrote a story or a book or a poem or something called Lady Mondegreen. Turns out it was because she had misheard these lyrics. So
That's
I actually
hilarious.
have
What year is this?
her book or not, whatever it was 1950 something.
Okay.
So clearly people have misheard lyrics before that, but this is where the term comes from, right?
Yeah.
So here's a clip of the line from this, the Bonnie Earl of Moray. See what you think they say. Oh, sorry, Pete, you're gonna play.
Yeah, he lands aye lowlands. What hay you been? Yeah, he slain the Earl of Muddy and laid him on the green.
Okay. I don't think I understood any of the words.
That was like Chinese. That was Chinese to me. Wow.
I don't know if we
What?
have any of our Scottish friends watching here, but I will tell you,
Scottish need to go to school.
I understand some foreign languages better than I understand Scottish speaking the English language. It's like they have such a unique accent.
That wasn't even close to English. Something else going on.
I definitely heard the line. I laid him on the green, but because I knew what I was looking for, I honestly didn't understand any of the other words.
Yeah.
Matt's with you. That's the only part he got too.
Matt also has a good comment here, and you see this all the time. I wonder how the AI generated closed captions, what they hear on these misheard lyrics. That would be a good review.
What Stevie does is he's got like a phone app. I'm not sure which one it is, and then he just puts it up to the speaker to see what it says.
Yeah, he does like
Yeah.
a text to speech or speech to
Right.
text.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that actually would be hilarious. The problem with metal, first of all, I think that this is much more common in metal than it is in other forms of music. It's like you were saying, Shred, like the vocal quality in metal is so aggressive sometimes that words can get lost.
I started listening to death metal, as I've often said, and I mean, I had no clue what they were saying. I just like how they were saying it.
Yeah.
Then my parents would listen to it and be like, "It must just be all satanic seance worship." I was like, no. Here's this Christian death metal lyrics. I show them like the lyrics. Jesus, it's just all about God and loving people. Kind of silly, but
in a very, very aggressive way.
Yeah, like aggressively love people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the history of Mondegreens in metal actually goes all the way back to the very first metal band, Black Sabbath. So now this video is giving me a horrible error here. So I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to play this, but it's from the song Megalomania by Black Sabbath. And the line goes, peace of mind eluded me. But I guess a common mondegreen of that is the Easter bunny looted me.
Oh, look at that
Okay.
Easter bunny looting
Yeah.
away.
It's a very common mistake to make. Everybody does that. Again,
Oh,
twisted.
yeah. Oh, man.
Oh,
Ozzy's just
Oz.
sitting there. He's like, oh, man, I don't have any peace of mind. And everybody thinks that he's getting mugged by the Easter bunny. It's crazy. So this is common in metal.
It was actually easy to understand Lord Oz back in the day compared to now. I just watched an interview with Ozzy like last week, and he's making very little sense. I mean, he's just, he's always had like this developing issue. I don't know if that's from like his Parkinson's or if it's from, biting off bat heads. He might have gotten like 666 rabies. Something happened there with all the drugs and whatnot over the years where he just became totally indecipherable. You can't really catch much. Like Sharon's got to like interpret everything.
Yeah.
Go with him everywhere.
That's the way it was on their show, the Osbournes.
Or maybe, he wasn't nearly as bad back then. That was like the mid 2000s. Now he's just like really hard to understand. But if you got like a Stephen Hawking, like a computer interpreter, maybe
that's what
it
needs.
would be. Yeah, that's what he really needs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, poor Ozzy there. But yeah, okay. So let's jump into some excuse me, some misheard lyrics here of metal. We're going metal today. Not pedal. We're actually going to do metal today.
Pedal to the metal.
That's
But we might put the pedal to the metal. So the first one here, this is probably the most, like, if you look up misheard lyrics, Metallica's Fuel comes up. There's about 5,000 entries of Metallica's Fuel. And I do not understand why.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire, right? That opening line.
Sounds pretty straightforward to me. Yes. So anyway, here's the line. Let's just listen to it really quick. Go ahead and play that.
That's the misheard line?
That's the misheard
No,
part.
well, that's the actual line, right?
Yeah.
That's the actual line. But listen to some of these examples that people have. So give me 2, give me 5, give me doubt. What? I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
No.
Give me fuel, give me fries. What? I mean, what? I just don't understand.
Okay,
like this
that's easier to understand how that one came about because they're both F words.
Yeah.
Like F words, fuel and fries both start with F. But the one before that made absolutely no sense. 2 and fire are not even close. I forgot what
I don't understand at all why this one is so. It's probably just because the song is popular.
People are going crazy out there. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, but anyway,
They're riding the crazy train. Speaking of Lord Ozzy.
Okay. There's actually a great website called amiright.com, and it's all about like music trivia and music parody. And they have, I mean, just like thousands and thousands and thousands of entries of songs for misheard lyrics. So if you guys ever want to like read through some of these, got to go check that out.
People like being affirmed, so we should make a site like that we just yes is the answer to anything you type in.
Yes is the answer.
Yeah.
Am I the smartest person in the world? Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course you are. Why would you not?
Yeah. Well, I spent quite a bit of time going through some of these, and I picked out 10 or 11 of the ones where I was like, holy shit, these actually... I could see where somebody got confused here. But also like maybe they don't make any sense to everybody else. Maybe this was just me. I don't know. But let's start with Iron Maiden. This one I think is kind of a toss to Yngwie Malmsteen. So Iron Maiden's song "Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter," which is the line. Bring your daughter to the slaughter.
Great.
Yeah.
Song.
However, the misheard line here is "Bring your donut to the sauna."
Maybe not a bad idea.
That's amazing. I vote we change it to that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Iron Maiden, can we just please change that? I don't care what the original is. That's better.
Well,
that's like
it's
totally
hilarious.
Better.
Like I just picture like Yngwie in a sauna, and then like
with his jelly
here
donut.
here comes Bruce Dickinson with a donut to the sauna. But anyway, I'm like, how could this be? But then
sauna.
I listened to the clip, and I'm like, oh man, with his accent maybe or something. I'm hearing it.
Shit.
So anyway, here's the clip with the word.
Let her go, let her go. Bring your daughter to the slaughter. Let her go.
Oh yeah,
I got the sauna a lot more than the donut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
I mean, seriously, let's just change that. What can we start a petition? If we get 666 signatures, then we can actually overturn the original lyrics. All email Bruce.
Yeah, just see what he says.
Let him know we're gonna change that.
Yeah,
dude. It's just the gift that keeps on giving, this connection with Yngwie and his donuts, and the fact that he's so upset by it just makes everybody want to like permeate that even more, just spread that. I was just doing it yesterday or the day before in a video. And oh man, that's just so funny. I can't stop making jokes about it. I was like, Yngwie's jelly of Metallica success, jelly donut the success, right? I mean, connection, jelly, jealousy, donuts. I was like, I came up with that idea in the shower. I was like, ding, I'm the smartest man alive. I win.
Yeah.
That's just brilliant. Love it.
Well, and I think that's
kitty now. Does your cat like donuts?
I don't think he likes donuts. He does, and maybe a fish donut.
Gross.
Well, and
yeah.
So that is the thing. Like, if I'm sitting here chowing down on a donut, and then I listen to a song where somebody says something like "daughter," I'm like, "donut." Oh, I just heard donut. So I mean, like the context you're in, matters. Maybe that's where a lot of this comes.
We filter everything, through our own reality. Yep.
Matt's got it. It's what we were talking about. The misinterpretations are superior to any of the originals. Like, we were just voting to change it, right? So because we thought it was superior.
I think artists oftentimes take themselves too seriously, actually, with their lyrics and their songwriting, and they're trying to make like these super deep points that could go any which way, and nobody's really like everybody's kind of like interpret it for themselves, right? They just kind of come up with their own meaning for it, and it's like, why not just have some fun with things? Like, be less serious about trying to make these super 69 level deep points, and just have some fun with it. Donuts.
Well, I mean, I think certainly there's a place for that. I mean, loving doom metal. It's like there isn't really a place for like comedy in doom. I mean, maybe there is comedic doom metal.
There's a time and a place for both. It's just that as an artist, all I'm trying to say is don't take yourself too seriously, because it can actually diminish the quality of your art. If you're thinking like, oh, this sacred 666 riff that I just wrote, it's going to be the most amazing thing. It's going to go down in history forever. I don't know. I mean, most of what you make is crap. Like, in fact, about like only 20% of it ends up being good. That's the Pareto principle. And, just kind of, that's been really hard for me to figure out over the past 6 years of doing social media. Actually, it's more like 6.66 years exactly
on the money.
Pretty much exactly. So that's what I've learned. I'm like, most of the stuff that I put out, I used to think everything that I made was like brilliant, right? I'm like, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to break the internet. It never does. And then some of the things that, I think are crap actually do really well. Just get some objectivity on the creative process there,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's valid. But I also like, I mean, if you take, say you take a progressive metal song, right, that's got 3 movements, and one person might really dig movement 1 and movement 2 and 3 aren't his thing, but a different listener might be like, well,
yeah,
movement 3 is the best, right? So
that's
it's
true
like,
too. Yeah,
if you can say that 80% of the stuff you make is unpolished or not
is
as
Luke
good.
admitting there's subjectivity in art?
Wait.
Oh, busted.
I've always said there is what you like, what you
Is
enjoy
subjective, yeah.
is subjective. What is good and has value and quality is objective. That's my point. Of course, there's a subjective nature to it. That's taste. That's what we call taste.
Yeah. So I mean,
Anyway.
if artists or if people are mishearing your lyrics, who cares? As long as they're listening to your songs, I mean, the worst
Right.
is when they don't even listen.
Well, so speaking of riffs, so this next song is I love this riff. I don't know why, but I do. Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth.
Oh,
This is it's just such an iconic riff. Yeah, Megadeth. So now this is a very popular mishearing, and actually I didn't know what the actual line was until I looked it up, because this is so blatant.
Nobody understands Dave Mustaine. No one understands Dave Mustaine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the line,
he's got his own language.
The line is apparently, you tried to take its pulse. But what people think he says is, you tried to take his balls.
Yeah, you tried to take his balls. Yeah, no, exactly what are you talking about? Yeah.
And dude, he is saying balls, in my opinion. Let's listen to this. Yeah, let's check it out.
That's probably what he's saying, and then he's like, put pulse in the lyric book. I don't know.
Its metal brain corrodes. You try to take his balls.
Mega Dave wins again. That's the best one yet for sure.
Yeah, it's balls. I mean, like, it's balls, man. I'm not hearing pulse. I don't know.
And that's basically what you're trying to do. That's a very practical thing. We're always trying to steal other people's balls. That's just
right
how we roll, right? So
it's a strong statement, and
I don't know.
I think it is way better than the original, or than the supposed lyric is what I'm going to say there.
Try to take his pulse. Yeah, that's lame. The fact that Dave sounds like no one else and is so easy to mishear is part of his charm, though. It's part of what makes Megadeth memorable and stand out. I mean, and it's a love-hate thing. Like, people are very rarely kind of like ambivalent about Dave's sound. It's like, I hate Dave or I love him, and there's no middle ground.
Yeah, I like Dave. I think he'd probably be really tough to work with in real life, just based on the rotating door of bandmates in Megadeth.
Oh, of course. But we're talking about but you like his vocal sound.
Oh, you mean in terms of enjoy? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got a great metal voice. Yeah.
It's interesting because then you have. I think the voice is the biggest factor in terms of popularity. Hetfield is much more accessible. He sounds more, for lack of a better term, like normal or average. And that's something that really hurts a lot of bands. I was listening to Anthrax today, one of the big 4 bands. They have like the operatic style vocals.
Yeah.
And that's just going to instantly cut a lot of people out. Iron Maiden is another one. Bruce has the more operatic style. Metallica literally gets paid about twice as much as Iron Maiden per show. And they would have sold more albums if Iron Maiden hadn't have released like literally like 30 albums. I forget what it is, but it's more. It's like 3 times more than any metal band ever.
It's very high. It's like 20. I think it was 28.
Ton
of looked it up last time.
No one's even close. To prolific output, but that hurts their. Normally, the more you make, the more your brand grows and stuff. But Iron Maiden would be a lot bigger, I think, if their vocal style was more like accessible and normal. Anyway, it's easier to mishear the vocal style of a guy like Dave Mustaine for sure.
So I was wrong. 41
Iron
albums,
Maiden, yeah.
But that includes live albums and EPs and some compilations.
Okay. All right, yeah. Well,
so
regardless, they're still the most prolific metal band. But they get paid, like Metallica gets paid up to $12 million per show, whereas Iron Maiden only tops off at about $5 million. So Metallica is obviously in way higher demand.
I wonder how that's possible because they're not bringing in $12 million in ticket sales. So it must be like sponsors and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The merchandise is another way that they monetize at a show.
Yeah.
Metallica is, not just, they're one of the biggest bands, period, not just in metal. Like they're an enormous deal. And a lot of it's just, they figured out the business,
Yeah. Well, so back to Mondegreen.
It is too, Luke, what you were talking about, the objective quality. It may have something to do with that too, just being more relatable, et cetera, that kind of thing,
Yeah, well, that's a big topic. We should do an episode on that, like the business side of music.
It's what everybody needs to hear, but they don't want to hear about it. We have to figure out how to make it sexy. Talk about eggplants, fun stuff.
Well, see, you're transitioning into our next clip.
We're going to talk about coming up.
We're going to talk about rubbing your muscle. So next up is
that's a good phrase there.
The band Helloween, in their song Halloween.
It's always tough to figure out. Yeah. Halloween's Halloween.
This is a classic example of they use kind of a choir effect, and so the line goes masquerade, masquerade, grab your mask and don't be late. But the misheard lyric is masturbate, masturbate, rub your muscle, don't be late. And this is partly because they sing it really fast, so you can mishear it. So let's check this out.
Play that again, Luke. Pete. Play that
again.
again.
Hold on.
One more time. Okay, the muscle didn't quite sound right, but everything else was pretty viable. What was the actual word instead of muscle?
Mask.
Yeah.
Instead, it says grab your mask, but the misheard lyric is
muscle.
Rub your muscle. So muscle is 2 syllables, right? And mask is 1. So that is what gives it away.
Okay.
Well,
yep.
And it's the masquerade is being misheard. And then once your mind's in that, then you got to like fill the rest of the lyric in to make it make sense.
Yeah.
Power of suggestion. Yeah.
Fill
in the blanks.
Yeah. So Matt Davis said his favorite misheard lyric is Metallica's Master Puppets. The pancake story is glorious. I don't know this. I don't know the pancake story.
I do love pancakes. I eat 69 of them every day. I can say that, but
I made pancakes last night.
There you go. Yeah. I have a shirt that says powered by
It's
pancakes.
great shirt.
Carbohydrates are true power.
Carbohydrates, yes. So Matt, you'll have to tell us the pancake story, or if it's really long, we can look it up. Okay, now this next one is the strangest one that I think is on this list in terms of there's a lot of words, they're all misheard, and they all sound exactly like the misheard lyrics. So this is Nightwish, and the song Amaranth. And now this is when they had Annetta Olsen as the singer. So maybe everybody was used to hearing Tara, and then Annetta comes on, and things are weird, whatever. But so I'll read the actual lyrics. Well, yeah, okay. Here's the actual lyrics. Caress the one, the never fading rain in your heart, the tears of snow white sorrow. Caress the one, the hiding amaranth in a land of the daybreak.
That's the original.
That's the actual line. But whoever misheard this one brilliantly misheard it, because it's carrots that wander never fade in rain, and you're hard, and Jesus bought my sorrow. Carrots that wander hiding M&M in a lab until daybreak.
Man, we should write like a song about those lyrics, or maybe even Luke, you could write a book or a screenplay. Like there's carrots and you're hard, and then you're in a lab. Man, it's just so many ins and outs there.
That's the thing. This is like, typically you mishear like a word or two. This is like the entire phrase, the entire chorus, and it sounds exactly like the misheard lyric. So let's check this out. Here we go.
I like that one. It's very, I don't know what that is, but I like it. I just like it.
Yeah, it's like
They have some hard. Yeah, they have
But it's
some
like
hard
carrots?
to understand. I feel like Nightwish sometimes is hard to understand, anyways. So just got to kind of make up your own thing to go along, whatever you can remember.
Well, so here, that's a great point, because I think some bands speak in heavily
Poetic.
poetic, heavily poetic words and language and imagery. And so they're not using the most common words you could use.
Or
and that's just going to
phrase,
lead
yeah.
people that, maybe if you don't have the most poetic vocabulary, you're going to hear words that instead of, words out there that maybe you don't know.
Dude, yeah. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, if you want to communicate effectively, imagine that everyone is drunk and high and not with all of their wits about them, right? You want to just be basic, like use very clear, basic language, because all you're kind of like doing is trying to make yourself look intelligent when you use big words. I mean, big words have a place. It's just, I don't know. You guys know what I'm getting at? It's like, it goes back to the artistic thing too, where you take yourself too seriously. I used to think, and I think a lot of guitar players think this, they think that they're like the chosen one. You picked up the greatest instrument in the world, guitar, and now, you're going to make the world bleed with your incredible songs, make their ears bleed in a good way,
Of course.
And it's just not that serious, bro. Like, you're just another 6-string G-string fingerer. It's, pretty insignificant, if we're being honest.
Annetta Olsen too is Swedish, and it's a little bit like
Swedish
the
or
accent
Danish.
thing. I
Something
looked
like
it
that.
up. I think it's Swedish, but yeah, you know, like we talked with the Scottish at the beginning too. Like
Scottish.
now, obviously, and when you get to Swedish, like English isn't even the first language. So the way you might enunciate words, and then you're singing on top of it, and I think it just pretty snowballs. Using uncommon words, you have maybe somewhat of an accent way you pronounce it in singing.
Oh, dude, that's so true. Like I have found, I have identified bands as being Finnish because of the way they pronounce the word river. They pronounce it reaver. Every Finnish metal band pronounces the word river reaver. And so if you ever hear a metal band and they say reaver, it's like they're Finnish. And I don't know, maybe some others.
It's easy to spot. I mean, just think about those from across the pond. They say things like Zed.
They do say things like
Zed,
yes.
Zed top. Wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. What are you guys talking about? You know?
Our neighbors up north do the same thing. In Canada, they say Zed.
Canucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's true. Now, sometimes, you know, to your point, Shred, about using very simple, clear words, that still isn't enough sometimes. So here is Children of Bodom, and it's the song You're Better Off Dead. So the line is, what if there ain't no tomorrow? Seems pretty straightforward, right? How are we going to misinterpret that? Well, it's misinterpreted as
It's possible.
wanna get laid? How's your bum hole?
Oh yeah.
Now,
Whoa,
how could those two things? How could that be possible?
It's more like Children of Bottom.
Yeah.
Instead of Bodom.
Oh,
That's probably
yeah.
what's going on with that.
Well, let's listen to this. See if he says, "What if there ain't no tomorrow?" or "Wanna get laid? How's your bum hole?" There we go.
Yeah. I like it.
Especially when you have
Change the lyrics.
vocals like that, you can, and then you suggest something, you can definitely hear it.
Having it written on the screen when it's going is really important too.
Yes.
I think
Power
you know
suggestion's more clear.
it's a lot of these mishearings are on point with on theme, I will say, with you know, dirty humor, right? It's like that's where people's minds just go, right, naturally.
Yes, it's so true. Dude, I'm telling you, like these shirts that I have, Finger the G String, WAP Juice.
Yeah.
What's another one? Whatever. But like when I walk down the street, people always give me more reactions to those risque innuendo type shirts, because that's where people's minds are. We're just basic biological creatures, you know. We want to eat, we want to sleep, we want to procreate. And so that's where we spend most of our time, in our minds, you know. Not thinking about the depths of stoicism and, you know, the fine art of writing novels or Ernest Hemingway.
I mean, I would I would say that while there is certainly the biological function there, I would say metal is one of those places you can go to actually find something deeper than that, right? I mean, we've talked about that. The lyrical themes of metal tend to, I mean, certainly there's like the element of sex, but then there's so much more. Whereas in pop music, it's just sex, right? Because they're literally trying to appeal to the widest possible audience. Whereas metal is like, hey, you can have that in there, but all of the rest of the life experience is important too. And so let's explore it all.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely. I mean, I was watching Russell Allen and Annette Olson, speaking of Annette, getting interviewed by the Charismatic Voice yesterday. And Russell, you know, is in a band, Symphony X, where storytelling is, you know, like just a forefront. That's a focus for them. You know, they often leverage Greek mythology and stuff, and the Trojan War, Iliad and the Odyssey. and it's a bit harder to get into, but once you're kind of like in it, then you're like, oh man, this is a really compelling narrative that they're telling, and you're following Odysseus on his journey, and he's escaping from the sirens in the sea, and there's the Cyclops. Oh, woo! He's got to
Yeah.
he's got to take down the Cyclops, and yeah, like that just takes a little bit more time to get into. It's not going to sell as well as Cardi B, but that's why we have to figure out how to hijack attention. That's why I make sure it's like the WAP juice, so that I can kind of like grab your attention and then show you something good. It's the Mary Poppins strategy. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Start with the sex because that sells, and then
and eating. That's the next thing,
eating
right?
and sleep. Yeah.
All
It's
that
so
Maslow
true.
stuff on the bottom. Just get the bottom level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then
Rick
go
Beato and I love to talk about this concept called X cells, which is a chromatic device that you hear in the Psycho shower scene. Have you ever seen the film Psycho? It's one of the greatest horror films of all time. And the screeching violin sounds, when she's naked in the shower and getting stabbed. Those are X
Yes.
cells, but I like to call them sex cells because it's like a little play on words. You kind of get people's attention. Sex cells. Let's talk about sex and this naked girl in the shower. But then I'm actually talking about it's the letter X. X cells. CELLS.
It's very good. Yes, alliterate. Not wouldn't even be.
Yeah, I don't even know what I don't know what is that literary device, whatever it is.
There's a term for it. I
but
can't think of it.
If you're going to get attention in this modern attention digital economy, you have to leverage things like that.
Like a homonym.
Sure. So silent AFH. I can never remember how I'm supposed to pronounce that name. He says the B in Cardi B stands for bumhole. Just like maybe that's what Children of Bodom Alexi was talking about.
Yeah.
Want to get late? How's your bumhole? Maybe he was talking about Cardi B. How's
It's
Cardi
like,
B
now I
doing?
realize it's been getting a lot of attention, that hole in the back. So how's it doing? Are we ready for another round? Where are we at here?
Oh, and then he's got Symphony X cells.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
here we go.
Now you're starting to think.
We're building, man. Well, so I've actually got Symphony X on this list.
That's crazy.
Yes. There is a misheard lyric of Symphony X, and I've got it. It's from
What could this possibly be?
one of my favorite songs, Evolution, the Grand Design, off of their album
okay.
V or 5.
Right.
Okay, so the actual lyric is, all will bear a part of me. Let this hollow shell set you free to live as one.
I can see where this is going. This is gonna get twisted.
Well, it gets actually really cool. So here's the misheard lyric is, owl bears a part of me. Let this taco shell set you free to live as one.
Nice.
A pink taco shell, of course. What we're talking
Possibly. I don't know what an owl bear is, but it sounds really cool.
Does sound
Anyway,
cool.
let's see if Russell Allen's enunciation chops are up to snuff.
Owl, bear a part of me.
Yes. But that fits in with like their mythology lyrics, like an owl bear.
Yeah.
It's part of it. I
An
don't know.
owl bear. Yeah, that's like a new creature. I like that. What would he
Oh,
look
Russell.
like? He'd have like wings, but then a bear face. Maybe just like a bear with wings. That could be the owl bear.
I was
So a
thinking
bear that could fly. That'd be terrifying.
I was thinking the opposite, like the body of a bear, but the head of an owl, so it could swivel, 360 degrees.
There's an owl bear originally created for D&D.
What?
Oh, really? There is an
Oh,
owl bear.
so whoever heard this was a Double D fan. They're a fan of Double D's, basically.
The owl bear has an owl face and a bear body. It's basically an owl head on a bear.
So that's what Luke just described.
That's what was in my mind. Was the head of an owl.
Well, you played
the
D&D,
body of a bear,
maybe, right? Did you play D&D?
Not a lot, but way back in the day, right? For whom Silent Face is great. For whom the Taco Bell tolls.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a really good one. So, I mean, that's a whole nother thing is like not even like misheard lyrics, but like taking titles and like incorporating them with strange and unfamiliar things to make it funny.
It's actually a
great.
great exercise. Like it makes you really smart. It's a good 420 exercise. Work on your brain chops.
There's an owl.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there it is.
There's an owl bear.
Where's the wings? Oh,
Yeah,
it
no
does have
wings.
wings. It does have wings.
A little bit here on the side. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
It does.
Flip out.
I'd like to see those wings a little. I don't think those are big enough to actually make him fly. He's so large.
I don't think you're going to see a Kodiak flying through the sky. Maybe.
If Kodiak bears could fly,
Oh,
I mean, it just wouldn't even be fair for anyone else. They're just like the ultimate apex predator.
definitely
No one would escape.
be the last that any of us saw.
Anything.
Yes.
Because then they can fly anywhere. They fly, all over the world and just clean up, just eat everybody.
Just eat up.
We wouldn't last long. Russell's crazy though. Apparently he's like a hardcore video game developer as well. Like he codes games.
Really?
I had no idea. Yeah. On top of all the other things that he does, he's like a thespian, actor.
Yeah.
He's got all these skills. Great singer. He records. He's got his own like studio now. He's recording all of his own stuff.
He's doing a lot of like him and like one other person. Like he did a I think it's called Alan Olsen.
Yeah,
and it's like him and Annette
yeah.
Olsen. And he's done like 2 or 3 of those projects where it's like him and one other person.
With Jorn Lund or whatever.
That's where it started.
Really?
Yeah. I think they released
like,
something recently with Jorn or somebody.
Did he? They put out their first one. Alan Lund was like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, he's a
maybe
big
they're still doing
collaborator.
stuff.
Big collaborator for sure.
Yeah. Well, so sometimes, a lot of what we're hearing, we've talked about like the accent can make it sound different. The tone quality, if grunting obviously is harder to understand. But sometimes you just have a straight up clean voice and you say something and it just sounds like something else. So here's Danzig. Now this is a throwback. I don't know how many people remember Danzig from like the 80s and the 90s, but this was some of the early, like, slightly heavier stuff that I remember seeing.
Metallica
on like
was influenced by Danzig heavily. Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein. He reposts me sometimes. He loves that meme I did of where it's like the very accurate musician chart, and it's like you play guitar, you get 2 babes. Keyboard, no babes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're out on tour right now.
Well, so Danzig had this song called Mother. This was like, I don't know, 87, 88. This is an old song. And the line in the song is, "Can you hide them from the waiting world?" Referring to children. But the misheard line is, "Can you Alabama wedding world?" And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure I can tell the difference here. So let's check it out.
Mother, can you keep them in the dark for a while? Can you Alabama wedding world?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah. That's totally what he's saying.
That's totally what he's saying. Can you Alabama wedding world?
Take an Alabama slammer and go to an Alabama wedding right now. Boys down. We can fly in our owl bear on top of our owl bear.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Owl bear is definitely worth Google imaging. There's lots of good owl bear.
It's like
imagery.
going deep in the Google images, deep into the owlbear mythos.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Okay. So let's hit a couple more of these here. Okay, this one is just fantastic. Slayer. Now, these guys he doesn't grunt. He doesn't grunt. But he's just got
Tom kind of yells. He's got like his own version of yelling.
Yeah. Somewhere between like a yell and a scream and something in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, this line from the song Die by the Sword, it goes mindless tyranny, forgotten victims. But the misheard line is, my name's Tony, I've got some bacon.
Oh,
And I tell you
that's
what,
great.
Tom, you might have to clarify this for us. Let's see. I think this is even a live clip of him singing it.
Live on the soul and help to contain the helpless minds of you all. Down on my hands and pools of blood, clutch yourself as you fall. Mother's tyranny, forgot to bring you to the inside of the vein.
Not a live clip, but my name's
Uh,
Tony. I've got some bacon. Yeah, I mean that's it.
He's
That's
like,
it.
that's all you need to know about me. I've got
Previously
bacon.
talking
So
about
come on
like
over.
blood and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. Maybe this guy's just a butcher.
Maybe
That's
he
what we
was
got
the
going
actual
here.
butcher. Yeah, that could be. That could be.
I mean, the name of the song is "Die by the Sword." Maybe he's talking about the pig. He's talking about like the pig died by the sword, and he made some bacon out of him.
Wow.
Cuts up
Very,
that pig with the sword. I'd rather.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I'd rather eat bacon than owlbear. I just get the sense that it tastes better. I could be wrong.
Oh,
but-
dude.
safer.
I had some bear last year, and it was not
kind?
my thing.
Owlbear
What kind?
or
No, it
yeah.
was black bear. I think it was black. I didn't
Could have
kill
been
it.
owlbear, Luke.
It could have been owl.
You're just
bear.
trusting whoever fed that to you, but it could have been anything. I'm watching this Dahmer show on
Oh, yeah.
Netflix,
Yeah.
and he comes over to his neighbor and he's like, "Here's a sandwich," and she's like, "What's in it?" And Dahmer's like, "It's just normal stuff, pulled pork," and she's like,
Okay.
because she's been like hearing like all these screams and bludgeoning noises, and so she suspects that Jeff is up to something. She's like, you know what? He's like, I'll eat it later. It's like, I'll save the sandwich, and after you go, I'll eat it. He's like, no, I want you to eat it now. Eat my sandwich. Eat this fucking sandwich.
Wait,
Suspicious.
Did you
is
eat a
this-
sandwich from Jeff Dahmer?
Is this I mean, this sounds like a like a fictional dramatization.
I don't know if that actually went down or not, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, yes, he was a cannibal.
I
don't think
kind
he
of
was,
doubt.
making sandwiches out of people and giving them to his neighbor. Maybe he was.
Well, the implication, and it may have been a dramatization from what really happened, but she was always calling the cops on him. So the implication was, that he was trying to basically silence her, with because he would drug his victims. So, he might have put something in the sandwich.
It
but
wasn't.
yeah,
It wasn't
could have
his
been
other
like-
neiher George.
it could have been like,
that's
his
what
other
I
neighbors in the sandwich.
Yeah.
That could have been too.
Okay.
Who knows? It's just a tough way to like start a relationship with someone, like here's a sandwich made of human butt. Eat it. Do it
So,
now.
a whole new meaning to
Yeah,
good
it's like-
eats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably not how you want to go about starting a relationship.
Jeff
That's
had some
true.
problems, is what I'm learning. He had some very serious issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Well, okay. Speaking of things in your throat, our next clip here is from Open.
Where's our eggplant emoji?
Oh shoot, yeah, we probably do have it. So this is the song "The Lotus Eater," and
there it is.
so So nice. So the line goes, the liquid is in your throat, one hopeless delight. But the misheard lyric is, the liquid is in your throat, all pasteurized.
Oh,
Wow.
easy
So-
to misunderstand that one, of course.
I mean, yes. What liquid are we talking about here? If it's milk, pasteurization makes sense. Anyway,
is it WAP juice? What is
do you pasteurize WAP juice? Is there any?
It's probably a smart idea, actually. if it was Cardi B's WAP juice, I would definitely want it pasteurized.
Yes.
Purify that. Or if it came from female owlbear, also good idea to pasteurize.
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
being safe. All right.
All right, let's check this out.
Whoa! What?
Does-
Play,
does-
play
oh,
that
yeah.
one again.
Yeah.
I like how he says pasteurized. Pasteurized. Wait, who was that?
That's Opeth.
Opeth.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like Opeth. That's they have such interesting sounds.
Isn't that pasteurized is kind of a complex word? Going from like one hopeless delight, 3 simple words, to pasteurized. It's kind of interesting.
I was
that
buying
one.
it though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It
Yeah.
very much sounded like
Seemed like it
pasteurized.
fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it really does.
Weird.
So silent AFH, I find reading along with the lyrics in the CD case helps adapt your ears to your voice. So
It
this
does,
is
yeah.
actually, this is one of the reasons why I like to still buy physical CDs. I
think-
like liner notes, and I like to read the lyrics along with the songs.
Silent. I think you're probably like one of maybe 6.9 people left on planet Earth that actually reads the lyrics while listening to their CD. That's got to be a rare thing at this point. But I remember I always did that with
Oh,
Yes.
growing up back in the year 666 many years ago. Like you buy a CD and it's like a treasured possession that you put a lot of resources into, and then you just consumed it all.
Yeah.
Lyrics, read who mixed it, who recorded.
Oh yeah. I loved
everything.
reading the thank yous.
Thank
you know,
yous,
I mean,
yeah. Nobody
but-
reads that stuff anymore. No one
Well,
cares.
I think today, like first of all, how we consume music, while we're exercising or while we're driving or, whatever, is very different than, 25 years ago, where it was like more of a ritual, right? You found a great CD.
Ritual.
It was a ritual.
Like,
to sit
lit up
down.
the candles, sat in your pentagram circle,
Yeah.
turned out
Well,
all the
and-
You
lights.
pulled your vinyl out. I always like that's why I
exactly.
like the vinyl. You stick it on. Like, what else are you gonna do? Like,
Stare at
you're
your owlbear
not driving
statue.
your car.
You're not
And,
driving your car listening
And
to
in
vinyl. That's
vinyl,
true.
you had these big booklets, or you read the case, which was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that is one that is definitely
Yeah,
a way to like actually hear what they're saying, right? By reading the lyrics. But two, that is a lost ritual. Like, yeah,
it
it's
is.
not a
I
common
don't.
thing
I
to
don't
do.
think
I
people
think-
like actually listen to full songs anymore. I think
Yeah,
they
that's what
literally
I'm saying.
just listen to clips.
I think
mean,
Silent's point though is not that that's a way to learn what the real lyrics are. He was like, by reading it, what I understood, then it adapts your ear to better hear that vocalist's enunciation. Once you kind of know what
Definitely,
they're saying, then it's
definitely, yeah.
easier to hear them say other things correctly.
yeah,
That's
a very
true.
interesting point.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember with my death metal CDs. At first you're like, what is going on? And then after a while, I could actually hear what people were saying because I was
Yeah.
used
Oh,
to
yeah.
their delivery. And I started to hear it in other bands too, whereas most people can't even pick up a single word from a death metal band.
Right. No, you absolutely. I mean, if you just Now, I still struggle with some, like Corpse
Sure.
Grinder.
Corpse
Corpse
Grinder.
Grinder?
Yeah, sorry.
He is
It's the girth of
hard
his
to
neck
understand.
is so significant that he grinds too many corpses, like him
Yeah.
and Jay Dahmer. Just
a
kidding,
classic
corpse,
problem.
but yeah.
Right. Yeah, but then like a lot of other grunters, Insomnium is a classic example. Like, so my wife likes a lot of their music, but she's like, I can't pick up what this guy's saying, and I'm like, oh, I hear it perfectly now. I can understand. I can like tell you what he's saying, but just because I listen to it so much, right? So
Yeah.
you start to get an idea of the individual vocalists, their pronunciations, their intonations, all of that. So that's a great point. Okay, I want to get to one more.
Okay.
I just want to get to one more because this one it's so good, and every time I listen to it, it makes me hungry. Because he talks about curry, and I love curry. So this is another throwback. This is the band Morbid Angel. This is one of the first metal bands that I used to listen to.
Wow.
So this is like doomy stuff.
This is like Chuck Schuldiner competition. Some people think that these guys actually started death metal. Morbid Angel.
Yeah. Well, so here's the line. The line is lies, and you fill their souls with all oppressions of this world and all the glory you receive. But the misheard line is rice, and you fill the sauce with all the peppers of this world and all the curry you receive.
I'm
okay.
hungry,
It's a consistent cooking theme.
Yes. And sure enough, I'm not convinced that he's saying the other stuff. So let's check this out.
I love
That's
it.
like the best one.
I'm not sure if I got peppers.
Yeah, the peppers
but I
is the
definitely
only
got
weak part.
Curries.
Yeah.
Curries of the world.
It's
Right.
interesting how the misunderstandings go over
Right.
something like, again, this really deep concept to something just really basic. We're always hearing just really basic stuff. Food, sleep, procreation. That's what we're attuned to.
Yeah, it
Hilarious.
did come full circle because we were talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and food is there.
We had tacos.
We had tacos. Yeah.
I mean, what? Yeah, how are you hearing tacos out of Symphony X? But then, when you put it up there on the screen, it's like, okay, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Pasteurization.
Yeah. That's all right. Well,
Amazing.
so I think maybe next. So they're literally like every band has these misheard lyrics. So maybe next time what we'll try doing is doing the speech to text and seeing what the AI generation can come up with.
That'd be great.
Because I think that would be hilarious. And like you said, I think, Stevie T does something like that with some kind of app. So
yeah, I don't think Corpse Grinder is going to get picked up very well. I'd be very interested to see what happens with that.
yeah,
Probably get a lot of nothing.
yeah, we'll try it out. But okay,
But now that we think about that, most of those clips were either sex or food, and there was some other just weird left field stuff.
the
too.
owl bear.
Owl bear is out of nowhere, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
but there's
Yeah,
like a deeper
lot of-
lesson to learn there about human nature.
Well, I for sure, right? I mean, if like, what is your subconscious hearing?
Yep.
So next time you guys are listening to a line and you're like, "Oh man, that's a crazy line," think about it. Might not be the actual line; it might be your subconscious feeding you some lies.
Or rice.
Or rice. It might be feeding. Yeah.
Hot peppers. I wonder if those peppers were hot in the curry.
If
I
it's
hope
in a
so.
curry, they're probably hot.
Probably
But-
hot. Yeah.
I don't know.
Everybody says things are hot. I had some wings yesterday that were hot. They weren't hot. They weren't hot. I can take the 666 heat.
Almost anything at a restaurant, they're like worried about like somebody complaining, so they don't make it hot.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, you go to like in Southern California here, you go to these like Mexican grocery stores. Those guys do not kid around. I got some salsa the other day they have a mild, a medium, and a hot. And I usually get the hot and it just like scorches my face. So I was like, I'm gonna get the mild. I got the mild. It was still insanely hot.
It was still 666 heat. That's fine.
Oh yeah, no, they're just like, we like hot stuff.
It's hard to get, because I like heat. I don't want to nuke my nuts, but I want a good burn. And the wings I had yesterday, their hottest wings, it was like mild at best. Like it wasn't even close to hot.
Yeah, that's no bueno. Okay, guys. Well, let us know what some of your favorite misheard lyrics are. Mondegreens. Let us know what your favorite Mondegreens are. And until next time, remember that the world ends with you, so keep it pedal.